Horror Story Coven. I was looking forward to American Horror Story Coven forever. Every promo, every little teaser, I was watching it. I watched the one that they have where like the mask like 17 times. It's amazing. And this season is probably the season I have like the most like split on so far, because there are so many things about it that I love, I think are amazing, I think are really interesting about it and the mythology of the show. Then there are other things that are just so epically disappointing and sometimes distressing that I am often conflicted about how I actually feel about the show in the end. I'm waiting for the series to end to have a really true opinion on it, and I will be doing it as part of like a weekly blog. I will be talking about this show among others, but at the same time, you know, I'm excited about it, half dreading it. I love the acting. The acting in this show is just stupendous, and I love, like, it's all these women characters out there. They're powerful witches. I love witches. They're my favorite supernatural creature. So all that stuff was just kind of like drawing me in and drawing me in and drawing me in. Jessica Lange as Fiona is a really great. I love that it's a female, older woman anti-hero, almost villain character, and she's the lead and she's the one people come to see. Like, all the older actors are amazing, but all the teenagers, except for Nan and Queenie, they got to go. I'm sorry. Emma Roberts' character, not interesting. Zoe, not interesting. The moment that she did not kill Kyle when she realized that he was crazy and she's feeling all bad about him and like, oh, we gotta say, I was done. Kyle, he can go as well. The young people in the show, except for Queenie and Nan, just are bland. I think that with Madison, the most disappointing thing about her is that, like, there was so much that they could have done with her. Like, the series started with, like, rape as a plot device, and they've really done nothing to really explore that except it being a reason why Kyle is dead. Because they really haven't brought it back full circle about what that meant. It just seemed to be a dramatic element that did nothing to tell us anything about Madison's character, to say anything about Madison's character. It just was there. And so that's how I feel about Madison. She's just there. There's nothing really to put her in except for her to be kind of like, to have a surprise bitch gif that took over the internet for a week obnoxiously. But like, she's nothing. Zoe's an idiot. She is. She's basic. And she may be growing more powerful, but she lacks common sense to do even the most basic of things. And I just don't care about her. But I do care about Fiona and Cordelia and Misty and Marie Laveau. They're great characters, and I love Marie. I love Marie Laveau so much, because after seasons upon seasons of things like The Vampire Diaries and True Blood, which use their black characters as magical Negroes so much, and I'm gonna see that trope so often, to have a character like Marie, who is completely the anti-magical Negro. She literally does not give a shit about anyone's problems. She don't care. When she was like laughing at Cordelia, like, you come to me with, you want potions from me? Girl, we ain't friends. I don't know you. We don't live in this. Go away. Like, I love that, because it was like a rejuvenation after years of seeing these characters who are always meant to like come and have all these magical abilities, be so powerful, but they bend over backwards to like the first white person that comes asking for help. It's so frustrating, and that a character that wouldn't do that was just so invigorating. And with her and Fiona, who are just these magnanimous, morally corruptible, but also have these really great human moments, they're just incredible to watch. The magic in the show is also really fun to see. Like, Fiona's powers are just interesting, and how many she has. But also have someone like Misty Ray, whose power to like bring someone back from the dead after so long. Like, when she brings back Emma Roberts' character, Madison, it's just incredible to me that I find myself just being really drawn into the magical elements of it. And those things are really strong, like the acting, some of the characters, and just the atmosphere, I think, itself is very strong in the show. I think it's one of the best things about it. But then so many other things are messy as shit. There's the biggest, messiest thing, but I'm gonna say that for later. But then you have, like, the plot lines that are there, like the Axeman, the stuff with the church neighbor. Those things are just kind of weird, extraneous points that I don't know why they're there yet. Hopefully will, but the Axeman just seems like a waste of time, and his relationship with Fiona is tray creepy, and they need to get rid of that as soon as possible because it's not cute. Be like, when I first saw you, you like my daughter, but now I just want to fuck you because you're older and you're like the ultimate woman for me. I'm like, that's kind of not okay. It's not okay. It's very creepy, and I don't know why that was in there. The stuff with the husband and the witch hunters has potential to be interesting, but as of right now, it just, like, they've been saying that there's gonna be a threat happening, that when witches don't come together, they burn, and I get that. But it seemed like it took so long to get to the point where this threat was happening that I'm almost like, this should have maybe been pushed up a little bit further in, because we didn't know why the husband killed that girl in the beginning, and it was like a good thing in there. But since then, we haven't really had much to really work with in terms of a big overarching villain. So that was kind of messy for me. I also think that to a degree the focus of the teens breaks it down, because I feel whenever the show turns to Kyle or Madison, it just stops. The show literally just stops for a moment and becomes about this stupid little angst bullshit that I just really couldn't care about, and that's really annoying. Also, this season, the amount of sexual violence has just been sort of tasteless, I would put it, because American Horror Story Asylum had a lot of sexual violence in it. 11 plus sexual violence. But at the end of the day, I felt like there was a plot point and a character point about it. You know, it was happening for a larger issue, and it was part of something else. Where sexual violence in here just seems totally gratuitous in a way that does not shock anybody. It just is skeevy. And a lot of people make the argument that horror is meant to make you feel that way, but at the same time, it's like, what comes about of it? You know what I mean? If something larger was being told about this, than just because Madison's gang rape is only important because they want to kill Kyle and make him zombie boyfriend. That's pretty much it, because there has been no other long-term consequences to that actually except Kyle. So if that was the case, they could have killed off Kyle in so many other different ways that didn't have to involve rape. Kyle being molested by his mother. Except for giving him trauma, there's no point to it. And he could have trauma for so many other reasons. I mean, his community was destroyed in the levees. He got trauma from that. The fact that he just died and has come back to life with the sewn body parts of his friends, that's trauma enough. Why add the rape there? Why add the molestation there? There's nothing to be gained from it, and it's not horrific in a way that I think either one fits in the show at all, or isn't handled in a way to really make you feel any other way but just disgust because you have to look at it. There's nothing being told through it. There's nothing really interesting about it. There's nothing. It's a waste. It's a waste, and it's just very poorly handled and poorly done, and I don't understand the point of having it there. And it's just when I think about it, I just get I'm just why? Because there's so many other things, why is sexual violence that people have to go to? It's always molestation and rape. Why is that the only two things that people want to keep going to? And this always happens. I mean, there's been rape in every season of American Horror Story. So, and I know that the writer has his own history with stuff coming on, and everyone can handle stuff differently, but I just feel there's no point to it in the episodes that we saw. There's no point to it in a way that I think oh yeah, this had to have happened because of this character moment. It never seemed to have to happen for the character, so I don't understand why it was put in there. And then the final thing that really irritates me is the way the show's been handling race. As soon as I heard that it was gonna be witchcraft versus voodoo, I was like, okay, MESS. It was just gonna be messy. And it has been. It has been messy from jump. And it's upsetting because it started off okay. The stuff with Delphine, showing her being a horrific monster, I think that was very valid. But then the thing that happens is that we end up spending all this time with Delphine, that a good number of people started to feel sympathetic towards her, and started to view Marie as the villain. is my problem, because I don't see what Delphine did out of the box besides have humorous moments. I mean, alright, they were funny, but have some humorous moments that endears, like, that's what endears people towards her, that she's kind of funny, and that she seemed to have redeemed herself because she's being nice to Queenie. But I just felt like people, like, Ryan Murphy and some of the writers, I think they said that they did not expect so many people to side with Delphine. And I think a lot of people have been saying this because there have been complaints about the fact that the character has been being made to be sympathetic. And they're saying no. But my thing is this: if we're not supposed to sympathize with her, why are we spending so much time with her and having all these emotional, poignant moments with her and Queenie if you're not trying to elicit sympathy from her? And people will argue, oh, it's to make her more than just a monster. And it's like, okay, I get that. But at the same time, we have little time with with Marie Laveau. She's being seen in almost a purely antagonistic light towards people who are supposed to be as protagonists, because we're supposed to root for Zoe and a little rip-off Scooby-Doo bunch. So we're not supposed to root for Marie. So instantly you have this division that isn't just, you know, villain, it's racial, because that's what the show has been talking about. It's a racial divide. And with Queenie going over to the voodoo side, it makes that divide even more vast. And even before that, she was the only black person there. So, and then the issue about the witchcraft that the white witches have is supposed to be stolen magic from Tituba. That has a whole other element to it. And it's like, I get that you want to talk about racial issues, and in some ways, it is good. There are some things that I have seen in the show that are good. Like I said, the fact that Marie is a total anti-magical Negro, the fact that they address some colonial issues, all good things, but at the same time, we spend no time with Marie. We spend no time understanding her. We have a few scenes where we do get some insight into her and her role in the community that she has, but overall, we spend most of our time with the other side. And recently, before, because it's going to start over again, but in the last episode, you know, when she doesn't agree to have, we realize that she's been trying to kill off all the witches. So she's the villain. And that now that she has been torturing Delphine, and so there have been some people who were angry with Queenie for giving Delphine up. But it's like, she killed a baby because it was mixed race and was like putting the ball on his face in front of the mother, and the mother killed herself. I'm supposed to care about this woman, and the audience does. So many people do, and that's what frustrates me, because the narrative sets it up for that to happen. It's not an accident, because if you wanted people to care about this other group, you would show them more often. We don't even know the names of anyone in the Voodoo Clan, really. I mean, there's been one other person that they've mentioned besides Marie, and then there's Bastien. That's it. There's no one else. And some people have been arguing that excuse me, that witches in general in the show are there to be a metaphor for all oppressed people. And that argument is the reason why I hate the supernatural racism metaphor. Because here's my thing. Why not just have the people that are actually oppressed be there? Why does witchcraft have to be standing for minorities? Just have actual minorities and have the storyline play it as is. Because to me that says that we still can't handle talking about these issues with minorities being the lead focus. So here we're going to do it with white people instead, and then put like a peppering of like otherism to it so that we can discuss it without actually discussing it. Because why not just have it be the lead instead of being Zoe and Madison? Because let's be real. Zoe and Madison are the ones who get the most attention out of the newbies. So if you want to talk about minority and oppression, why don't you make it Nan and Queenie? But you don't. You choose to do it through Zoe and Madison because they're the more acceptable ones. And you don't tell the story with Marie being in Fiona's position and her being the one we spend the most time with. No, you make it Fiona because that's the one that makes the most sense for people. That's the one that you think people accept. It's a choice. When you wrote it to be this way, you made those choices you guys decided that was going to be the easier package for people to swallow. You cannot, like, the excuse, we don't need to be telling the stories of oppression through vampires and werewolves that are all white and straight. You cannot keep doing that. Why? Why? And it's not a valid, and first of all, you cannot, the idea that witches and vampires and werewolves can even stand in for minorities to begin with is absurd. I mean, witches are a slightly more acceptable one because women have especially been targeted when it came to like the witch trials and those type of aspects. So in certain ways, yeah, that is more acceptable. But overall, it's like, we're not werewolves and aliens and shit. Like, the supernatural metaphor needs to stop. Just actually have minorities in your goddamn show and people who are marginalized. Don't be like, oh, this stands in for that. Because guess what? If it's still being told with white people, you're not really helping out any marginalized people. And the thing about it too, like, there is diversity in the show, and if you just put the attention on those people, so just making it like a brush over thing with a few one-liners, it'd be great. I mean, people do like Queenie and Marie, but it's because they're fierce. You can't help but look at Angela Bassett and the flaws and be like, oh my god, you should have been Storm. Oh my god, you're so amazing. Oh my god, I love you. Like, she's a really good actress. And I haven't talked much about Delphine, and that's because I hate her. And look, Kathy Bates plays her brilliantly. By the end of the day, I hate her. I hope she dies. Can't wait for her to die. Or whatever happens to her. I don't care about her. Don't want her to be redeemed. Just hope she dies. I don't care about Delphine. I have no sympathy towards her or anything that she did. She's a horrible human being. She can burn the fire. What? But I am looking forward to the end of Coven, because at the end of the day, it's the show that I look forward to. Like, I look forward to it every week, and I feel partially guilty because I feel like, it's so aggravating to see these things every week happening, but at the same time, I love the story. I love how everything's been playing out. Even the extraneous plot stuff that's kind of dull, at the end of the day, if I can get to see a little bit of Angela, a little bit of Phil, a little bit of Cordelia, a little bit of Misty Day, it's all the better for it. So I'm hoping that these last few episodes will at least fix some of the problems that have been coming up. I doubt it will fix all of them, because let's be real, that's just not going to happen. But if it could just, make certain things better, it'd be great. But so far, I think Asylum is still, personally for me, the best season of American Horror Story. But this could easily be better if it hadn't had some very obnoxious elements. So maybe if these last few episodes really fix things up, it will be the better season, because it has so many much better elements than Asylum. But after I watched Asylum, I just felt so, like, watching Asylum made me pumped for Coven, because I could see what good writing could be done in this show, and it made me excited for that. Whereas, like, by the end of Coven, if it stays this way that it will be, I will have definitely enjoyed it, but I certainly won't be as pumped for the next season as I was coming into Coven.